Jormuntide Ignis, the one pal that fits all the bosses and can do all the hard mode towers, the raids, and the legends. It is probably the most versatile pal in the game. It can counter pretty much anything. As long as you breed up an army of Jormuntides, you will be able to do all the content. So if you only want to make one army for towers or raids, one pal for tower bosses, if you don't want to breed a bunch of different pals, this is the one to go for. So first things first, we got the kindling level as a base pal. It's only Rio that has the same kindling level, but Rio is a breeding exclusive pal, so it's not as easy to get the passives on it. It's a late game pal. This one you can get quite early through some breeding chains or finding a wild egg. The stats on their own are very good. It's got amazing stats. It can also breed for legend. It can breed for skills like Absolute Frost. Used to be that you would breed for Holy Burst, so not being a breeding exclusive is a big benefit to the pal itself. Then you have the elements, dragon and fire. So if you start with the legendary pals, you will have Frostallion, countered by fire. You will have Jet Dragon that uses dragon and fire skills, so they are weak to Jormuntide. Just throw some ice skills on it and you'll be fine. You got Necromus and Palladius. Necromus weak to dragon. Palladius, I mean, it's weak to dark, but it mostly uses ice skills. So fire sort of neutralizes that against the dragon element. So it's a great pal against all four legends. They did give Holy Burst to a few of them. I think at least Frostallion and Palladius got Holy Burst. So that is the weakness of Ignis. It's just these huge area of effect kind of skills like Beam Slicer and Holy Burst. So it does suffer a little bit from that, but you can get around that with some withdrawal dodging. Then you have the skill set for it. So I'm going to start, I think I only covered the legends actually. Let's go back to the tower bosses, and then I will be showing the raid bosses later in the video. So for the tower bosses, So, neutral, not much going on there, but So is also pretty easy, so it doesn't matter. Lily, weak to fire, countered by this. Mark Excellent Orsurk uses quite a lot of dragon attacks, so he resists the Beam Slicer and Comet and stuff like that. Quite good. Doesn't resist electric skills, but doesn't really matter that much. Then you get to the little bit harder tower bosses. Marcus starts being a little bit more difficult than Axel was, when doing hard mode at least. So for Marcus, also resist the fire attacks, quite good. Then you get Victor, weak to dragon, doesn't do a whole lot of damage with his dark skills like Divine Disaster. He does use some ice skills, which fire helps neutralize again. So really Ignis is only weak to water skills, so you only need to look out for, I think like Lily has a water skill. There might be a water skill on Bjorn, but I'm getting to that. You have Saya and Celine, also weak to dragon. Ignis does suffer a bit against Airblade, Starmine and Holy Burst against Saya, so you will have to withdraw dodge those skills. And then you have Bjorn and Bastigor, ice countered by fire. The ice skills don't deal super effective damage because you have fire. He does have a few water skills that you would need to withdraw dodge, but that's pretty much it. So Ignis covers pretty much all the tower bosses as well. And then you have the raids. So I will be showing just some quick raid fights here. So really you only need 15 Ignis. So I have my 30 Ignises I made for Xenolord Ultra. So I'm going to show the first 15 against Libero, or Libero Ultra rather, and see how they do. This is also a little bit of a damage test. Now that these pals are all 60 souls and stuff, they're not all maxed IVs. I am farming IVs for them. So we summon Libero Ultra and we see how they do. So when Libero was released, the most common counter was probably to catch a bunch of Jormuntide Ignis at Sanctuary 2. Some people went with a bunch of Jet Dragons. Then she did switch to Ice in Phase 2. So she wiped out most of the Dragon Pals. What a lot of people ended up doing was just using Bellanoir Libero against Bellanoir Libero Ultra. But that has sort of dropped off. Not a whole lot of people are using Bellanoir Libero anymore that much. And that's mainly because when she was released, her exclusive skill was really broken. It was super strong compared to other skills. Then we got Sakurajima, which added a whole lot of good skills, so other pals became more viable. It wasn't that she became worse. And now in Feybreak we can breed for stuff like Absolute Frost. Libero is still a breeding exclusive, so no legend. You will have to mutate the passives yourself or use Dr. Braun. And other skills are just very good nowadays. So she has fallen off a little bit. Just in terms of like meta, she's still very strong. But now you can probably use a lot of other pals to counter Libero Ultra. But I am using the Ignis army. So Beam Slicer, you'll see it strikes her while she's in the air. Still does a lot of damage. If you use something like Blast Cannon, it won't do a lot of damage. It will deal almost no damage. Airblade seems to hit a lot. Holy Burst doesn't hit her a whole lot. And then you have Lightning Streak. So the Ignises did Libero Ultra, 15 Ignises, no player damage involved. I think I didn't even hit the boss. Yeah, you don't get any loot if you don't hit the boss. I'm gonna make sure to hit it at least once next time. Just because I am farming these fruits, the IV fruits. Did she kill my chest? I don't think so, since I was able to build. And the chest is fine. She didn't even get close to it. Okay, the next army is to go for Ryu Ultra. So I have been considering what skills to use, but I think I'm just gonna stick with my old build. Holy Burst, Airblade, Curtain Splash. I guess I could have used Absolute Frost or something instead over Curtain Splash, because it will be resisted in the second phase. But I feel like just getting that first volley of Curtain Splash, Airblade and Holy Burst is usually enough to get him to the stun phase, which is pretty nice to get him stunned very early so he doesn't spam a bunch of skills. I think I'll stick to this build. So here we go with... Did I miss one? Yeah. So Ryu Ultra this time. The pals always seem to start with a Dragon Cannon. That first skill they use. Any pal will use their first quick skill just when combat gets initiated. Okay, so he's already at the first stun phase. That's what I mean with using Wall Splash. It gets you there in just a volley of 3 attacks. You could probably use Absolute Frost as well. Not super interested in doing another DPS test against Ryu. Now that he is still only level 55. And that all your pals level 60 with the new souls, with Demon God and stuff like that. You can probably do this with a whole bunch of different skills. So he's stunned again. I think he's only used like 2 or 3 attacks in total. He got stunned very quickly and then he got stunned again. He might go into the phase change before he gets an attack off. Now, we'll see. Now he's using something, okay. Probably the worst skill in the game. Doesn't do a whole lot. That Volcanic Rain. So here you see Beam Slicer does hit things that are mid-air for quite a bit of damage. That's why it's good against Libero. While Holy Burst doesn't seem to hit her like at all. Lightning Streak hits her a lot though, so that's nice. And now we have this weak Wall Splash. But even if it's resisted, it's doing like 77% I think it was of the damage. It might have been 66. I think it's 66% damage, so it's not total loss. Wall Splash is pretty strong. But you're probably better off using something like Absolute Frost. But if you look again, like they only used Wall Splash twice in this phase, so it's not a whole lot of damage lost. Brawn Impact. You got him, right? Good. Oh, I did forget to shoot him again. It happens. Okay, so that was the Ryu. Okay, we're throwing exotic spheres around. With the new expeditions, you can sort of waste them. You don't really... I'm making them faster from expeditions than I'm using them. The next up is Xenolord. And I don't think I will be doing the Xenolord Ultra in this video, because it's such a long fight. And you can't do it with just 15, you would need 30. So the 15 Ignises, they cover all the raids up onto Xenolord Ultra, in which case you will need 15 more Ignises. So I will switch the skills around now and speed that bit up. And back to normal speed. So I am giving all these Jormuntides the new Mammoth curry for 25% food. 25% food, 25% attack bonus. And something else that is important is maxing this food bar. If the food bar drops to half, the pals get hungry and they lose 20% stats, which is pretty bad for your raid army, so you don't want them to get hungry mid-fight. They use stamina or hunger bar, whatever you want to call it. They use this when they're attacking. So the more attacks they're using, the more the stamina will get depleted. I'm not sure if the basic attacks that were added, spamming Dragon Cannon, will make it deplete faster now, or if those don't count. But it might be that pals get hungry much faster now. Not something I've tested. So now it's time for Xenolord. And this time, again, no player damage. I'm gonna try to remember to shoot the boss at least once. And we'll see if these 15 Ignises can do the boss without any interaction from me. It's something I haven't tried before. Did all of them have the skills? Yeah, so Absolute Frost, Lightning Streak, Holy Burst seem to be pretty good options. Then I guess I'll just toss these in case the raid wipes. I've done this with 15 Ignises and player damage before. We'll just see how it goes. Not sure how we'll count it if the ads start attacking me. Not sure where I'm gonna stand. Let's see. Xenolord. There we go. Okay, and I will shoot him once. There we go. Now I should get some fruits. So wave of Dragon Cannon. Wave of Absolute Frost. So the numbers look pretty big from here, but when I was testing it, the Absolute Frost only managed to hit him like 2 or 3 times. It wasn't as much damage as it looked like. But it might be very good against the ads. Not sure. It just feels like, you know, since I made all these Jormuntides to have Absolute Frost, I gotta use it. Is that going for me? No, it's going for the clump of pals. You can have some bad luck in the Xenolord fight, just like with the Ryu fight. If they all use Holy Burst and Absolute Frost just as he's teleporting, you lose out on a lot of damage. And while I was doing Xenolord Ultra, sometimes that's just a wipe. If they all missed Holy Burst and Absolute Frost at the same time, you can probably just close the game if you're not like really winning hard. Okay, so all these Vaders are going for me. Let's see if I can drag them into the area of effect skills. So are the Ignises looking at the ads at all? Doesn't look like it. Maybe the tactic is to be close to the boss. Get them all like grouped up around the boss for Holy Burst and Absolute Frost. Now some Ignises are attacking the ads. Not sure what is preferable there. If you want them to attack the ads or not, because I guess they're clearing them pretty well. But I feel like in general against Xenolord, you probably should be focusing on the ads and letting your pals hit the boss. Just try to clear them out as quickly as you can. All the Ignis look pretty healthy, and this is also without the healing potion. If you add the healing potion, they get a little bit of survivability as well. Let's see, will you kill a Ignis today? One of them is pretty low. Okay, perfect. And no Ignis went down with 0 player damage done. Got some nice loot. We'll place these back in the base. Okay, so that was it for this video. The Jormuntide Ignis raid showcase, or whatever you want to call it. Just why I think this pal is probably the go-to pal for breeding as a raid army. So thanks for watching.